Welcome to the Content Amplified podcast, brought to you by Masset. Our goal is to help you get more from your marketing content. Each episode is a 10 to 15 minute interview with industry experts that share amazing insights to help you squeeze as much juice from your content as you possibly can. Here's today's interview.
Welcome back to another episode of Content Amplified. Today I'm joined by Corie. Corie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ben. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be invited.
You bet. Well, Corie, I'm excited for the conversation. Before we dive in, let's get to know you. And then also, I really love to ask, what do you love about content and marketing?
To get to know me, let's open a can of worms here. So first off, my name is Corie Meredith. I am the VP of Marketing at UMortgage. UMortgage is a nationwide mortgage company. We're extremely fast growing, just started in 2020. This year, earlier this month, we just made the Inc. 5000 fastest growing private companies list, ranked 88 out of 5,000, which has been absolutely amazing. In financial services, we were 11. So it's been an incredible year of growth, incredible years of growth, I should say. But to give you a little bit more context of who I am before I jump into UMortgage, I've been in the mortgage industry for about 5 years now. I've been in marketing for just a little bit longer than that. I actually went to school for mass media communications and dabbled into the news world for a little bit, where I was a field news reporter. When I decided that I wanted to pursue a career in marketing, I was really, really excited and passionate about the social media advertising world. So social media and content creation is really, really where I get super excited. Many areas of marketing really light me up, but that's one that I fell in love with first. And so I spent a lot of time doing that, being a social media coordinator, digital marketing, building my way up. And now I am the VP of marketing here at UMortgage. And I've absolutely fallen in love with leadership and a lot of other skills that kind of come along with just being experienced in that regard. But it's been a wild and amazing ride. I just celebrated 3 years here at UMortgage. So I've been firsthand at a lot of the growth and the changes that we have seen, but I can confidently tell you that we are just getting started. So I'm super excited for this conversation. And when it comes to content marketing, I just love all of it. I mean, I think storytelling is really at the forefront of that, especially in today's day and age. There's really a craving for authenticity and feeling genuine and creating genuine relationships. And I think that, social media allows us a really easy way to connect with a lot of people at scale all the time. And so that element of storytelling and really, really being able to create genuine relationships with each other, even if it is with the barrier of a screen, is very real in the world that we live in today. So that would be my favorite part.
I love it. Well, today we're going to talk about a timely subject that everyone's trying to figure out. I think a lot of people have spent a lot of time with AI and they're trying to figure out how to harness it, where to use it, what to use it for, what makes sense, what doesn't. But really, we're going to hone in and focus specifically on how it's making an impact on brand and social media. So, Corie, off the get-go, what are your first observations? How is AI playing a role in those two areas with brand and social media?
You can't ignore AI, right? And in fact, I actually would be scared if AI ever went away at this point. But I think that the best part about AI is its element of allowing people to be more efficient. When it first came out, there was a lot of concern around AI and the fact that, it could potentially replace you, replace your job, and all the rest. But really, the people that were able to dive in deep, the early adopters, if you will, of AI, those are the people that are going to end up being successful with the tool because they're not afraid of it, but they're actually eager to learn about it and they're curious as to how it can help them be more effective and drive business results. So I would say that where AI kind of lands within brand and marketing is very similar in the terms of you want to use it for efficiency. And there is a strong theme that I'll likely carry out throughout this podcast, but it's just very near and dear to my heart is the fact of building relationships, maybe specifically because I do work in the mortgage industry. So I know how personal that experience is to the home buyer specifically, but also to really everyone that's involved in that relationship, in that transaction, is it goes beyond the transactional elements where you want to actually relate to people and you want to meet them where they are and you want to understand their pain points and you want to provide them with personalized solutions and make sure that they're seeing value in the relationship. Because at the end of the day, in the mortgage industry, yes, a home buyer is coming to you because they want to purchase a home, but they're almost scared to come to the mortgage side of the transaction, which is typically why they start with the realtor, because they want to go look at the new shiny object. They want to go look at the house. And the mortgage person is the person that's going to get them in debt for 30 years. But how do you flip that script, and how do you make it a relationship where you're now being an advisor for them and you're helping them with their financial longevity and making sure that they're building wealth and generational wealth that will not only support them, but of course, their kids and kids to come. So it really is that indicator of relationships and allowing AI to be effective in the types of relationships that you are building by understanding and leveraging data that allows you to have more predominant and efficient and productive conversations with those people. So I think, again, like it really is not a mechanism of replacement, but more of a mechanism of streamline and efficiency related items.
I love it. And often people, when they talk about AI, they really don't like it because it's not, a human relationship. Just like you mentioned, the power of AI can be so much more, and it can actually enhance those relationships, which I feel like a lot of people haven't really touched on or dove into. They kind of feel like great, now it'll just replace a lot of what I'm doing and things of that nature. And it almost takes the relationship out of the equation. How are you using AI to make the relationship stronger? Because I really love that point, and you mentioned some examples, but really, how do we use AI to build better relationships?
Yeah, I mean, AI can literally be your assistant, right? So you can train AI to speak like you. You can train AI to get in the habit of the things that you do and help it be an extension of you. And that's how you can make it more relatable, right? Because now you're feeding it prompts that you can then spitball back out to your community, and it creates that authenticity. It creates that genuineness. So if you're looking at social media as an example, there's an element of building relationships and providing that level and that authenticity for that connection ability there, right? So a lot of people lead in with video, as they should, because video, you can see, you could hear, it's tactical, all of the reasons why video performs really, really well. Well, why don't you use AI to leverage video scripts for you? And you can look at various different algorithm tips, and you can do all these fun things. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't sound like you, it doesn't really matter. So you have to train AI to make it sound like you. And then, of course, always put your unique spin on things, never like set it and forget it type of situation, but use it as a tool to create almost a W, so that you can go out there and you can be more efficient with those things. But yeah, my recommendation is to use it to kind of create more content, see how you can saturate different ideas that you have. There's often frequently asked questions. A lot of, if your phone rings and you get a question from a borrower, from a lead, or from a realtor partner, whatever, like that's potential content. And if you don't know what to do with it, that's a perfect opportunity to feed that to AI and ask them to like, hey, can you create a video script out of this question that I just received? And then you edit it until it starts to sound more like you. And the more you edit it, the more now you're training AI to sound like you. So it will get more mature over time, and you'll have to edit it less as time goes on. But there's so many ways that you can use it to your advantage, where you're still being at the forefront of that communication. So you're leading with authenticity anyway.
I love that. So correct me if I'm wrong. This is kind of what I'm hearing, and I really like this concept. You're using AI to augment your efforts so you can give more frequent, more personalized responses and interactions. If people are asking questions that you normally wouldn't have time to dive into, you're using AI to enhance that ability to say, oh yeah, I created content just for you based off of your questions, what you need, all of that kind of stuff. So I love that concept. I think it makes a lot of sense. You also talked about how you can enhance with your social media presence. So how are you balancing that, where you're saying personalized content, building relationships, yet optimized for this algorithm or this social media platform? How do you kind of weigh those two things out in your mind and tactically how you're doing things?
The algorithms are kind of simple, right? So let's look at TikTok, for example. TikTok wants you to have a hook. They want you to have an objective to that hook. They want you to have a problem, and then they want you to give a solution. So you can use that algorithm and plug and play with whatever content piece you're looking to cover. So maybe you just got a question about, what does a pre-approval mean? You then plug that question into your algorithm in AI that says, hey, can you put this into a TikTok script following this algorithm of hook, objection, problem, solution. And then it will now spit out a script for you, kind of going over that same thing. But that's where iteration comes into play, because it's going to take practice to make sure that that script actually sounds like you. It's going to take practice to make sure the script is accurate. You want to, of course, validate it for accuracy and make sure, that there's not any missing pieces there. But that script formula is really just to serve the demands of TikTok, but what's more important is serving the demands of you. If it does not sound like you, or it's not something that you would actually say, that needs to come first, because people will like and trust you for being you. And those are the people that you want to work with anyway. So always, always, always lead with authenticity and just be yourself at the end of the day, because you would hate to put on a front to feed a TikTok algorithm and then you pick up the phone and you're a completely different person. You need to make sure that you're leading with yourself, but you can use technologies like AI to help you be more efficient in that regard, or to help you be a little bit more creative if that's not necessarily something that you are, that doesn't come naturally to you. You can definitely leverage it for assistance there. The other note too that I will make is that the key with AI, in my opinion, is that you want it to automate the activity for you, but you don't want it to do it for you. So basically you want it to give you a task, and you want it to say, hey, we want to do this, but I still want to be the person at the end of the day that's executing that task, because there's that level of personalization that's very, very important to conversion in any definition of the word. That is, you can't skip that step. So what AI cannot replace is your relationships. And the second you let AI do it for you, you're letting AI replace your relationships. So just use it as a tool. Don't use it as a replacement.
I like that. So I love the analogy that you use, that it's an assistant, that AI can come in and assist what you're doing, but you really hit hard on this ability where a real, genuine relationship, you're still doing it. You're the one still writing the content, making the video. You're the one interacting with this person. Do you think AI is ever going to get to the point where it can execute those tasks? What do you think there?
Probably. It's pretty good technology right now. There's a lot of things that even TikTok is kind of coming out with, this may be AI generated content. So yeah, there is a world in which that could be a very likely possibility. But I would say until it's a real problem, still lead with authenticity and be yourself. Because there is an element too of that embracing AI and using it to your advantage, which I do believe you should not stray away from. The one key that you will always come back to is the relationship piece. And especially in the mortgage business, that relationship piece is so important for your business that you can't allow AI to replace your relationship, because I don't think it will ever be that good where it's literally you. So yeah, there is a world in which that could happen, but I don't think it will ever be as good enough where it's a true replacement of you. So just hone in on that relationship piece and really have that in your back pocket.
I love it. And again, these episodes go by quick. So there's just one more question before we run out of time. We're talking about branding as well. And a lot of this has been personal branding. So build relationships, build my personal brand, have people trust me, know that I'm authentic, and enhancing my capabilities to build relationships. How does that work for a corporate brand where it's not an individual? How does AI assist, and how can we build that same authenticity, the same relationship, but into a brand that, has a corporate name and isn't necessarily just a person on the front of it?
It all comes down to your messaging with that one, right? So you want to display how you are different, and you want to display the solutions that you are creating for problems. That's how companies exist. So I think that the benefit that you have is that your personal brand is who you are. When you walk out of the room, it's how people talk about you. It's how they remember you by. It's what they say about you. That's not going to go anywhere. That's kind of why they continue to come back. That's, that builds that and that trust factor. But from a larger brand perspective, you want that to have reach. You want that to have awareness, and you want it to have consistent messaging in its look, its feel, its tone about why you do what you do and the value that you bring to the table. So as long as you can kind of have that and you have the same mission, that's why core values are really important. If you have alignment in your core values of what you believe and the types of experiences that you provide across the board, then you will be able to scale in that regard. But there is a lot of difference between, personal brand and, company brand. But that key difference there is really personal brand is you. It doesn't really matter logo you use or what color you use or whatever the case may be, because at the end of the day, it's how people remember you. The company brand is really there for credibility and scale and reach and continuing to spread that message a lot further than one individual could. But those two have to align in terms of those core values and what they believe, like I said, because that's how you create this mass impact that people will remember you by in a consistent way, regardless of where you are.
Love that. And I think that that is a wonderful place to end this episode. Again, I've learned so much in such a short amount of time. Corie, I love how you look at brand and messaging and AI to enhance relationships, not replace them, especially in a time where a lot of people are trying to figure out AI and honestly, their relationships are suffering from it. And I love how you're using it to do just the opposite. And I think that's a really powerful message. Corie, if anyone wants to reach out and continue the conversation online, how and where can they find you?
Add me on LinkedIn. I love building our LinkedIn community. I'm pretty active on there as well. So definitely shoot me a message, shoot me a connection request. I would be happy to continue the conversation. I'm also a very big advocate for communities like this one. So definitely connecting with this community would be really an honor to me. So thank you for the.
Love it. Well, Corie, again, thank you so much for the time and insights today.
Thank you, Ben. This has been fun.
Thank you for listening to the Content Amplified podcast. Please subscribe and leave us a review. And for additional ways to get more out of your content, visit our website at getmasset.com. That's getmasset.com. And tune in next time to the Content Amplified podcast.